Hello, sorry I'm late. I just got home. Thought I would be. Good thing I didn't put. I was going to go on any earlier. Didn't think that we were going to be there that late, but we were. Okay, so had a good time. And let me see. Where is my live? You know what the funny thing was? At the last live, I was going over the Depp trial. And I did it for about a half an hour. And hang on, I was just sneezing. Hold on a second. I have to blow my nose really quick here. Hold on. I'm just going to mute it because I... Sorry about that. I sneezed like 4 times before I got on. And what I was saying was I was going through Johnny Depp through like 3 witnesses, and then I saw that I wasn't live. I went back and you never heard anything about Johnny Depp, and then I just said forget it. I don't know why it kicked me off like that. But Kubi said she thought I was just had to leave in a rush. No. I was, but I guess it's better this way. It's in its own video, so I'm going to just go over it all again. So today they brought in the doctors, and they had Dr. Spiegel and another doctor, and it was Amber's defense team that did it. And let me see, before we go into that, let me just see if there's any... Was there any update on that Texas okay, so, wow, okay. Some more true crime stuff that's so bad. All right. What are you doing?
I'm a troll.
You're a troll.
I'm trolling.
Okay.
I'm not going to be a troll, I'm lurking.
Okay.
I think a lurk, maybe the lurk would be somebody who just looks.
Okay, so when I was at the other one, I went through Catherine Arnold, and I went through Dr. Spiegel, but we're going to do it again. And I also went through Dr. Richard Moore. So Dr. Richard Moore is an orthopedic surgeon who testified for Amber's defense that he didn't believe Johnny's account of how he lost the tip of his finger, okay? He said that when he reviewed photos and medical records as well as Johnny's testimony as to how he lost the tip of his finger, it didn't look like that it was telling the truth, and that was because he said that the description offered by Johnny would have caused more injury to Johnny's fingernail, which was intact, and the surrounding tissue, and said the medical data was inconclusive. It's not consistent with what we see in the described injury pattern. The description was the hand being flat on the bar and the bottle crushing the finger from the top. And he said, but looking at the images, there's really no significant injury to the dorsal of the finger, and created the type of injury we would anticipate, both injury to the fingernail and other parts of the finger. And then said that the injury looks more consistent with the finger being squeezed between 2 hard opposing surfaces, similar to having a finger between sliding glass doors. The doctor also said that doctors who immediately cared for Johnny in 2015 did not write in their records about the presence of glass shards, at the site of the injury, and there was no references to glass shards in the rest of the hand or any lacerations anywhere else on Johnny Depp. And it really doesn't sound like it appears to be a sharp glass laceration. So that was that. And then they had a psychiatrist, Dr. Spiegel, who treats people with issues of substance misuse and intimate partner violence, testifying. And I quote Dr. Spiegel saying, "In my opinion, Mr. Depp has behaviors that are consistent with both someone who has a substance use disorder as well as consistent behaviors with someone who is a perpetrator of intimate partner violence." Johnny's team sought to show that Dr. Spiegel is unqualified to testify on intimate partner violence, as none of his published works specifically have that topic in those titles. And Spiegel said, "You can't separate trauma and partner violence." Let's see. Dr. Spiegel was brought in as an expert witness, and I quote him saying, "I don't want to talk about all of them, in particular as in regarding intimate partner violence." Okay. But explain that these are the risk factors that he wanted to talk about. So I don't want to talk about all of them, but in particular are: 1, having someone in the relationship who is jealous or suspicious; 2, having someone who has a higher than average acceptance of violence ideations; 3, someone who has rapid and extreme mood shifts; and 4, someone who has limited self-control. And said that 40 to 60% of intimate partner violence is committed under the influence of alcohol or substance use disorders. It's a function of human nature to get angry at others, but most of us do not act on that anger. When under the effects of substances like alcohol, people lose their inhibitions. So you no longer can interpret what's in front of you. That is, I would say, right or wrong, or what I should act on or what I shouldn't act on. Substance use has led Johnny to have slower processing speed, he continued, and lack of impulse control. But lack of impulse control also goes along with ADHD. During the video deposition, the doctor went on to say what was readily apparent was a gentleman who had a significant delay in processing speed. When you have a delay in processing speed, many other cognitive functions are going to follow. And then said, under normal conditions, Johnny is able to control himself, but the addition of chronic drugs and alcohol use has led to adverse behavior. I think Mr. Depp was able to control much of his behavior, much of his thinking, even if it was abhorrent or negative. He was able to control that. I think that once you start getting to the point of adding substances, that will set it over. And let's see, also said that his opinions, that Dr. Spiegel said, his opinions on Johnny are well within Goldwater rule guidelines, which bar armchair psychiatric diagnosis. The defense asked Dr. Spiegel to define the Goldwater rule, which prohibits psychiatrists from commenting publicly on the mental well-being of individuals without having done an examination or having been granted proper authorization. Dr. Spiegel said he is not offering any armchair diagnosis on Johnny on his cognitive well-being. And I quote him saying, "This is not the case here. I have reviewed a lot of professionals and the evaluations and their treatment course, video depositions, picture deposition, court filings, emails. I've reviewed a whole lot of things that describe Mr. Depp and his behavior. The Goldwater rule became part of medical ethical guidelines after then presidential candidate Barry Goldwater's mental fitness became a major topic of the 1964 campaign." And let's see, Dr. Spiegel said that Johnny suffered from narcissistic insult and is lashing out at Amber Heard via a civil lawsuit in hopes of reclaiming his name. And I quote him saying, "To some degree, this whole trial is that in terms of narcissism. Narcissistic insult is what's going on. I believe that Johnny Depp was very much a mainstay appropriately in Hollywood, and then this pulled the rug out. So then they took a lunch break. After lunch, he was back again, Spiegel, and said his reasoning for testifying that he found Johnny to display narcissistic personality traits after Johnny's attorney questioned his ability to make the judgment. Johnny displayed 5 of 9 narcissistic personality traits, including needing admiration from others, delayed moments of entitlement, and lack of empathy. And I quote him saying, Mr. Depp requires admiration from the very people that surround him, or they're no longer in his employment or his working circle. He reiterated his view from prior testimony that Johnny's characterizations that Heard owed him and only wanted to be with him for his fame as an example of Johnny's entitlement. Envy and a fragile sense of self-esteem are 2 of the other traits. I think jealousy is a good start for that, is what the Dr. Spiegel said of envy trait, using Johnny Depp's alleged objections to Amber Heard's desire to have a career and jealousy of her male co-stars as examples. Now, Amber's legal team is no longer planning to call Johnny Depp to the witness stand. Johnny's testimony has been irrelevant to the heart of this case, and that is not expected to change, says a source who said that. He may still return to the stand later this week when Johnny's legal team questions rebuttal witnesses before closing arguments begin. Then Catherine Arnold, a producer and entertainment industry consultant, testified, and she testified that Johnny's career was already in decline before Amber's 2018 op-ed piece for the Washington Post. Catherine Arnold said that Johnny had starred in a number of films that bombed at the box office, including the 2015 Mordecai, the 2016 Alice Through the Looking Glass, the 2013 The Lone Ranger, in the years leading up to that op-ed, which is the heart of the defamation lawsuit against his ex-wife. Reports of poor work habits also made it hard for Hollywood to financially back Johnny Depp's work, according to this Catherine Arnold. And she said, and I quote, well, we talked about the erratic behavior, the tardiness, the drugs, and alcohol abuse. And the lawsuits have had a really big impact, not just this lawsuit, but previous lawsuits that Mr. Depp has been involved with, because there's a lot of publicity around anything he does. Catherine Arnold also talked about a Hollywood Reporter article which was published before Amber's piece in the Post that said Disney was rethinking the future of Johnny Depp's Pirates of the Caribbean franchise after diminishing returns on the 5th film. And she said that TV and endorsement deals for Amber had dried up since Adam Waldman, who was Johnny Depp's ex-attorney, publicly called her abuse accusations against Johnny false and a hoax. It's very likely Ms. Heard should have earned $45 to $50 million over that time period. Amber Heard should be in the same galaxy as Hollywood stars like Ana de Armas, Zendaya, Gal Gadot, and others after getting her Star is Born moment with her breakout super role in Aquaman in 2018, Catherine Arnold said. It would have been very reasonable to believe her career would have been on an upward trajectory of those other actors if not for the hoax allegations. Instead, Amber's world has been silent in terms of opportunities. Johnny Depp's attorney cross-examined Arnold and said that examples are not comparable to Amber Heard. Johnny's lawyer argued that Gadot was in Fast and Furious movies before she was Wonder Woman, and Zendaya was a Disney Channel star before her career took off. And let's see here. Johnny's attorney argued that Catherine Arnold could not directly blame Amber Heard's bad publicity on Waldman, despite a possible correlation. It can be the instigating event if you want me to call it that, Catherine Arnold said. We'll call the Waldman statements the instigating event of a torrential rain of social media tactics that has gone on for years. She said that there was some pause for Amber following the publicity around her divorce from Johnny, but that she was able to recover until the Waldman statements were reported. The only time her career slowed down and stopped was at the same time those defamatory statements came out, Catherine Arnold said. And then court finished for the day at 5:30 p.m. with the end of testimony from Catherine Arnold. The trial resumes tomorrow at 9 a.m. Let's see here. That was it. Anybody have anything to say? You guys have anything to say regarding that? Hi, Billy Boy Blue. Hi, LMNW. Hi, Chris Ree. Hi, the Captain Lee fan. Hi, Cat's Got My Tongue. Hi, Debbie L. Hi, Jenny D1. Hi, Margot K. Hi, Nicole Griffith. Hi, Whisper to Me. Hi, Tammy McD. Hi, To Scooter. Hi, Denise Cormier. Hi, Kelly in Texas. Hi, Steph Burns. Hi, Aunt She. Hi, Kathy. Anybody else have anything else about that they heard? Karen H. Yeah, it's getting kind of monotonous now, isn't it? We're ready for the end, right? Hi, Hippie Chick 74. So it looks like they're going to have the closing arguments, and I don't know when they'll have them. Hi, Jenny. What is TYSM? Thank you so much. Is that what it is? Hi, Jeannie's talking about life. So let's, I guess, if we're done with that, look at some other true crime here, headlines. It's gone on too long, right, Karen H? It's like too ridiculous now. That's what I mean. It's like, come on. So let me go to the regular true crime. Let's see, did they find... Trying to see if we see the sentencing of Bryce Dickey. Okay, so Lorivalo's son said she gave him a haunting message when he asked about his murdered young siblings. Colby Ryan said that he reached out to his mother in 2020 after her arrest on murder charges in connection with the deaths of her children, Tylee and JJ. Colby visited Lorivalo at the Madison County Jail in Rexburg and reportedly pleaded for information about the children who he hadn't seen or heard from in months. I asked her 100 times what's going on, Colby said during an interview with the U.S. Sun, and the only answer I got was everything's going to be revealed soon. So I just left. It was always a question mark. You couldn't get a straight answer. It was already hard enough to reach out and be the one to chase her down. Colby said after speaking with his mother, he didn't hear anything else from her about the children for months. And then in August of 2020, investigators found the remains of both children buried in the backyard of the home that Vallow lived in. Excuse me, no, she didn't live in there with Chad Daybell. That's wrong. They were buried in the backyard of the home that Chadley lived in with Tammy Daybell. Court filings from Monday showed that the Idaho prosecutors plan to seek the death penalty against Lorivalo, who will stand trial for not only murdering her 2 children, but also her husband's first wife, Tammy Daybell. Chad Daybell is facing the same charges in connection with the 3 slayings. They took my family away from me. They took them away from everybody else that loved them, said Colby Ryan. It's one of the most painful things ever to hear details about how your own people that you grew up with, that you grew around and loved, killed your own family. It was dark, so dark, but that's how you feel when you want revenge, and I had to let that go. I was very angry. I was hurt. I was uncomfortable. I was sick to my stomach all the time, and there was just this weight hanging over me. I missed them all the time, he continued. I wish they were here to experience my family. I just miss their presence, like just being in a house together, having fun, and sharing our lives together. So I love them and miss them all the time. But I also have to take an acceptance that they're not here. And that was definitely hard. Now, maybe you remember this case. It's like these trials are being done for these cases about remember the guy, I believe it was in New Hampshire, wasn't it? Who his wife was having an affair and he made her behead the guy she was having an affair with. Remember that one? Well, apparently that's going on right now. Maybe you remember this one. A New Hampshire woman on trial for murder testified that it was her own husband who killed her coworker, then forced her to behead him. Armando Baron, 32, is currently on trial, accused of murdering Jonathan Amirault, 25, after Amirault had an affair with Baron's wife, Brittany Baron. Prosecutors said during the trial last week that Armando Baron brutally beat his wife after finding text messages between Amirault in 2020, September of 2020. Brittany took the stand last week and cried as she recalled her husband's allegedly ordering her to behead Amirault. Armando Baron is accused of sending their 3 children to their grandmother's house next door before he took Brittany to Amirault. Don't do anything stupid or the girls are going to walk into something expletive, gruesome. Brittany testified, recalling what Baron said to her. Brittany testified that after Baron took her to Amirault and shot him, they pushed her to finish the job by ordering her to slash his throat. I said, no, I'm not going to kill him. I can't. I could hear John struggle to breathe. As Amirault pleaded for his life and said he'd never see Brittany again, Baron allegedly didn't care and continued to abuse him. He's like, look at her. Do you still think she's pretty? So you still think she's pretty? John looked at me. He said, yeah, I do. Amirault was reported missing by his mother after he failed to show up for work at Teleflex Medical OEM. Amirault and Baron were both employees at the company when they met. When investigators spoke with Armando Baron, he told them he was upset because his marriage was breaking up and that he'd last seen his wife on Saturday when he dropped her off to go camping with friends. According to Brittany's versions of events recorded in a previous affidavit, Armando left her 225 miles away at a Coos Country site that they frequently used for camping, with Amirault's body, ordering her to bury him by the time he returned. Armando Baron learned of her affair when he went through his wife's cell phone. He later allegedly used his wife's phone to lure Amirault to a net wayside park. When Amirault arrived, Armando Baron allegedly beat Brittany in front of him before attacking Emerald. Brittany Baron would not place her finger on the trigger, the affidavit said, summarizing her account of the incident. When she did not shoot him, Armando removed the gun from her hand. Armando Baron also told Brittany to slice Emerald's wrists, she said, and she did, according to an arrest affidavit. At that point, Armando fired 3 shots at Emerald, 2 into the chest and 1 into the head. Baron then allegedly ordered Brittany to drive Emerald's car with his body inside to the camping area. He reportedly followed in his own vehicle, stopping at a general store for tarps, lighter fluid, household cleaner, and a shovel. After they arrived at the remote camping site, Armando allegedly ordered Brittany to remove Emerald's head. She did that and buried it, she told detectives. Then, she said, Armando ordered her to wrap Emerald's body in a tarp and dig a grave. Armando Baron ordered Brittany to come with him to an area where there was cell phone service. Shortly thereafter, Armando stopped the car and smashed Jonathan's phone on a rock. Armando gave part of the smashed phone to Brittany. They threw the separate parts of the phone out of the vehicle. Brittany Baron said her husband also ordered her to text friends that she was leaving for a while to clear her head. Investigators saw the messages. After police found Emerald's body and his car covered in a tarp and a variety of vegetation, they took Brittany into custody. She told them her husband was coming back with concrete, dirt, and their 9-year-old daughter. State police found him driving his stepfather's vehicle and arrested him. And the trial is still continuing. I'd like to watch that testimony. You can watch it on WMUR 9. I didn't know that was there. So, I guess they still haven't found Caitlin Armstrong. On Friday, Texas police arrested a couple for starving and abusing the woman's 8-year-old twin daughters, resulting in one of the girls' deaths last year. Oh my gosh. Houston police got involved in December after they were called to the hospital where the girl had died. The deceased girl was not only underweight, but she also had multiple injuries and bruises on her legs and ankles, which prompted law enforcement involvement. An investigation revealed that the 8-year-old girl was 29 pounds. She'd be 29 pounds. While her surviving twin sister, who was hospitalized a day after, weighed 26.4 pounds and had chronic rib fractures. An autopsy stated that the deceased girl had acute and chronic blunt force injuries to her back and legs. According to the court documents, there were 2 other children in the home who were in perfect health. Medical records indicated that the girl's mother, Soledad Mendoza, 29, had them treated in the past when advised that they needed to gain weight. The surviving twin reportedly told police that Mendoza would put her in a closet and in a trash bag. The girl recalled an instance in which the mother put her face in a trash bag and said, "It's because you're ugly and I don't love you." An investigation led to the arrest of Mendoza and her boyfriend, Ruben Moreno, 29. The surviving twin claimed Moreno hit her and her sister every day. Moreno and Mendoza have 1 child together. Moreno allegedly claimed Mendoza twins girls were underweight because they would not eat and would get sick. Mendoza and Moreno remain jailed on charges of capital murder of a child under 10 and injury to a child. Mendoza's bail was set at $3 million, while Moreno remains jailed on $2 million bail. The surviving children have been put into foster care. United Airlines fired an employee who was filmed brawling with a former NFL player, Brendan Langley, at the Newark airport while Langley was arrested for assault. The incident happened last Sunday morning as Langley allegedly used a wheelchair to bring his baggage to the check-in desk. An unidentified United Airlines employee confronted him then. According to a video provided by an onlooker, the pair began arguing before the altercation turned violent. Witnesses said the employee appeared to have started the physical altercation, that Langley landed punches, sending the employee spiraling backwards into luggage on the check-in conveyor belts. It's unclear if the employee will face any charges. A United Airlines spokesperson said that violence will not be tolerated by any employees, but declined to expand further, saying United Airlines does not tolerate violence of any kind at our airports or on board our planes, as we are working with local authorities to further investigate this matter. A body discovered this month in a trash can that was behind a Michigan home was identified as the homeowner who vanished 4 months earlier. On March 17th, Walter Dansby, 76, was reportedly found wrapped in a blanket behind his Detroit home. Police located Dansby's body 3 days after residents complained of a foul odor in the vicinity. Detroit Police Commander Michael McGinnis said Dansby's hands were bound. Dansby's cousin told the media that he traveled from Alabama on Friday to identify his body. Though Dansby's family filed a missing persons report in March, he was last seen at his home in last January. Police reportedly searched Dansby's home multiple times but found no sign of him until they discovered his body in a trash can behind his home. Dansby's cause of death has not been disclosed and no arrests have been made. Anyone with information is asked to call Detroit Police at 313-596-1000 or 1-800-SPEAK-UP. And he was a veteran. March 17th, so... A New York banker was shot and killed on a subway train Sunday morning in what appeared to be a random shooting. Police identified the victim as Danielle Enriquez, 48, who worked at Goldman Sachs in its research division. Witnesses told police that the suspect paced back and forth on the train for a few minutes shortly before noon and then pulled out a handgun and shot Danielle in the chest without provocation. The witness said the two had no prior contact when they were on the train. And the Q train was crossing the Manhattan Bridge when the shooting took place, and the suspect fled from the train when it pulled into the Canal Street station. Emergency crews took Enriquez to a Bellevue hospital where he died from his injuries. Police were reviewing surveillance footage and released images of the suspect wearing a dark hooded sweatpants, sweatshirt, gray sweatpants, and white sneakers. Anyone with information is asked to call Crime Stoppers 1-800-577-TIPS. A Mississippi teen was jailed on a murder charge Saturday, just hours after he graduated from high school. Lowndes County Sheriff Eddie Hawkins said Justin Robert Coggins, 18, is believed to have shot 33-year-old Dustin Hofpour to death during a domestic dispute. Deputies received a call about the shooting at 7 p.m. Saturday night and found Hofpour dead. The state medical examiner will conduct an autopsy. Officials released no further details, and the case remains under investigation. Coggins is being held at the Lowndes County Adult Detention Center. Adult Detention Center. Thank you very much, Billy Boy. Goldman Sachs, random, yeah, okay. Thank you, Billy Boy. Georgia police are looking for an 18-year-old with autism who walked away from his hotel room on Sunday afternoon. Carlos Steven Diaz Barrios is believed to have been wearing blue jeans and a navy blue long-sleeved shirt. His mother said that her son likes to walk around the Motel 6 property where they've stayed for more than a month, but he hasn't left the property on his own. Witnesses reported seeing Carlos on Delk Road at about 9 p.m. While he does not like to be alone, he may not respond to you the way you would traditionally expect. If confronted by a stranger. Anyone with information should call 911. Police arrested a naked Florida man on Friday after a chase that involved 3 car crashes across 2 cities and began apparently with the deaths of a 31-year-old woman and her 10-month-old nephew. The suspect, who was identified via jail records, is 35-year-old Dale Spittle. He allegedly shot and killed another person during the wild spree, a person who may have been the driver of the last vehicle Spittle crashed Friday afternoon. Coral Springs, Diane Hirschfield told the television station that Spittle lives in the same complex where the woman and the infant boy were found when police tracked the first car Spittle was driving. Coral Springs Police Deputy Chief Brad McKeon said the woman, identified by family members as Elizabeth Carmona, was pronounced dead at the scene. The baby, Carmona's nephew, was taken to Broward General Hospital where he later died. Coral Springs police said their involvement began around 2 p.m. when first responders arrived at the scene of a hit and run. Surveillance footage from a nearby gas station saw a silver Kia driven by Spittle cause a chain reaction crash. Spittle sped away from the scene, although McKeon said the responding officer made an initial contact with him. Not long after the accident, the Kia was involved in a 4-car crash in Coconut Creek. Spittle shot and killed someone at the scene, possibly the driver of a white pickup truck that Spittle jumped into before speeding away. Spittle crashed again a few blocks away and took off on foot, completely naked. He reportedly tried to snatch a woman's necklace before police finally caught up with him at a nearby gas station and took him into custody. Investigators have not released the name of the victims. Jail records show that Spittle has been charged with murder, robbery, aggravated battery, resisting an officer, burglary, 3 counts of leaving the scene of a crash, and reckless driving. He was held without bond at a court appearance on Sunday. Unbelievable. Okay. Okay, that's it. He was naked. Yes, Element W, he was naked. So that's it. I guess everybody wants to be in prison. W says, I guess so. I don't know. It's crazy. I guess he was trying to, I don't know, lose DNA that was on his clothes. I don't know why. I don't know. I don't. Who knows what they're doing? Hi, Earthbound Spirit. This is very random, but since you're already past the trial stuff, but what did Amber Heard's dog stepping on a bee have to do with anything? Her dog stepping on a bee? I don't know. Maybe it was traumatic. I don't know. You're welcome, Debbie L. You're afraid to leave for where? So, buttons on a shirt. Let me see. Went on a little mini vacation. I side-eyed everyone because people are nuts lately. Dinner was good. Yeah, we had a good time. Gia was really, she's like, will you show me how to make this ice cream cake? Will you show me how to make this? I said, yeah, anytime. Anytime. She wanted to hold the cake. She held the cake when it was lit. She kept holding the cake when it was lit for pictures and stuff. Hang on a minute. I'm gonna start my yawning. Okay. So, I thought I would go over a little bit about that movie, Candy. Because I was losing. So Candy, which was put out there for the members and the Patreons last night, stars Melanie Lynskey and Jessica Biel. And it's about the 1980 horrific murder of Betty Gore. Okay, ow, 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 ow. So Candy Montgomery and Alan Gore started an extramarital affair. They couldn't have predicted what was to come from that. Now, let's see how this happened. So, because I was watching some of it. Candy was content raising her 2 children and socializing with other churchgoers in a quiet southern town. But then she met Alan. Hold on a second. Okay. But then she met Alan, a charismatic member of the First United Methodist Church of Lucas. The two sang in the choir and played in the church's weekly volleyball match, where they would linger after the game to talk about their week. The conversations were innocent at first, but Candy found herself drawn to Alan, yearning for someone to fulfill the sexual desires that her husband, Pat, couldn't. So she built up the confidence to ask him if he'd like to have an affair. Alan hesitated at first. He loved his wife, Betty, and they were going to give their daughter, Alyssa, a sibling. But Alan also felt his marriage lacked the passion that he craved. So they caved into their desires, but they did decide to set some rules. And Candy said that she and Alan agreed that their affair would be strictly about sex, which they would have once every other week at a local motel. Candy would make lunch, they'd split the cost of the food and the motel, and most important, they would end the affair if they ever started having feelings for each other. But the last rule was quickly abandoned, and Alan wanted to keep seeing Candy even after she admitted falling in love with him in February, so they continued having sex until the guilt consumed him in late 1979, a few months after Betty gave birth to their second daughter, Bethany, in July. Candy was unhappy to end their bi-weekly ritual, but relented. And this is the real Candy. The affair was over for months, and it seemed the lovers had gotten away scot-free. But then on June 13th, 1980, Candy went to pick up Alyssa's bathing suit from the Gore residence, which Betty's daughter had accidentally forgotten for a sleepover. And what happened next, according to Candy's testimony, was a complete and total surprise. Candy said to the jury in October 1980 that Betty flatly asked her if she slept with Alan, to which Candy said no. But when Betty asked a second time, Candy admitted to the affair. Candy told the jurors that Betty then walked into the garage and grabbed an axe before walking back and telling Candy to never sleep with Alan again. They talked some more and Candy apologized, but then angered Betty, who, according to Candy, insisted, "I've got to kill you." Candy said Betty swung the axe over and over as Candy begged for her to stop. The fight carried on into the washroom, where Betty's body was found hours later. Alan was away on a business trip in St. Paul, Minnesota, but immediately knew that something was wrong when Betty ignored his first call from the airport. Betty was going through a rough time following their second daughter's birth and hated that he was leaving her home alone. So much so, she broke down in tears that morning and begged him to stay. They had made up, but Alan still felt bad leaving her alone. His worries increased when he made in St. Paul, and she missed his second call, then a third. Eventually, Alan made some calls to their friends, even ringing up the Montgomery residence. Candy answered the phone and let him know that Betty seemed fine, if a bit stressed. Hold on a minute. Alan then called a neighbor, Richard Parker, who knocked on the Gore's door and got no answer. After the second knock, Richard said 2 other men cautiously approached the house to check on Betty and the baby, Bethany. We went down the hall to the bathroom, turning on the lights. A little baby raised its head up out of the crib. It began to cry. It'd been there all day, nearly all day, and hadn't been fed or nothing.